Information society is an understatement to say the least. Even the way we're taught information has changed dramatically. Well, at Pope John Paul II High School, one classroom has been replaced by the home office. Sort of. Lisa Glover explains.
Earl Almeida is in class. He's part of a virtual classroom called the Internet course at Pope John Paul II High School. The course teaches students computer communication basics, so they have a working knowledge of the ever-changing technology.
Definitely the requirements for students is changing. At one point, just knowing one language is enough. A lot of times now, a second language will be the difference between getting a job. And the same thing with computers. I have a lot of friends that haven't taken many computer courses, and it scares me to think what's going to happen in a couple of years, because we're getting full-fledged into the computer stream, that it's almost an asset to be able to use a computer somehow, and not just know how to use WordPerfect or Microsoft, but know how to really use a computer.
But the most useful skill Earl's teacher hopes to pass on is how to learn independently.
There's a lot of distractions at home. You know, you got your stereo, and you've got your friends, and you've got the phone and things like that. So certainly they've got to be disciplined. And when I give them time to do things, I don't know whether or not they're actually using that time productively. But when the product comes due, that's when the students really have to face the amount of time they put into their assignments. So.
Use more discipline for university, but this course helps me because I know that even with the first assignment, I had to stay up really late, so I don't want to be doing that in my future. I'd rather get it done now.
Basically, in this class, we're mainly learning the basics of the internet, and recently we had just done a project concerning HTML web page production. It's mainly just getting used to the different technologies and also building better background in the information age.
Justin and Jason are both taking the course as an option this semester. The class gets together whenever necessary to share what they've learned at home and discuss questions they may have.
Click it, you're supposed to have it, bring up the name. When you name it, you have to recall the name, just like your name, Chris.
Oh, okay.
You have to call Chris.
Yeah. The number is high. The purpose of class is to first view what we've done when we're not in class, and then to get a few new things. Like there's some stuff that can't be taught online. There's some stuff like computer technology stuff or new things in technology, and even when we first did our HTML lesson the first time, we had to do that. We had to be there for him to explain it. But after that, it sort of develops more and more into the online course.
Because everywhere you look, when you look at any paper, any advertisement, it's pretty clear that you need some sort of IT training. Society's use of IT is growing by about 15 to 20% per year. Yet tens of thousands of IT jobs are going unfilled here in Canada.
Information technology is one of the latest buzzwords being used in the computer world. It describes all aspects of computer communication.
We can have a conversation now and not use a proper word of English for a couple minutes. But I think when you get past that and you start understanding some of the basics, you start realizing that, hey, there is actually some meat behind these terms. And I think it's really important for students to understand some of these terms so that when they're applying for jobs or when they're continuing their studies, they're at least familiar with the basics. It doesn't really matter to me whether you understand HTML. If you understand the implications behind putting a page up on the net, some of the problems a lot of you experienced last night when you guys were getting your projects published worldwide, those are the problems you need to understand.
Earl says the class has enabled him to better communicate over the net, use technology in school presentations, take his web designing experience into the workforce, and most of all, learn from what he's already taught himself.
Having that experience behind me will be the difference between me getting a job over somebody else. And so in terms of the business world, that's where I find it most useful. And then it's also good to go through the net and see how things are done and say, well, I can do that too.
Eventually, Romano says classes will evolve to the point where students and teachers interact from different countries, and students are competing with each other all over the world.
I see in the future, I mean, I certainly dream about this, that someday I'll be teaching 6 or 7 of these classes and offering it to students outside of this board, outside of Toronto, and I can be doing this, traveling Europe at the same time.
For now, students at Pope John Paul II want to learn today's skills to help them reach tomorrow.
So if you're walking into the class as a yellow belt, and Chris is
at first I thought it was just going to be an easy course, so I just thought, sure, I'll take this course because it'll lighten my load for this year. But then I realized that it's like the future of technology and stuff, and if I don't learn how to do it now, it's going to really